There's many reasons people are afraid of love, which I think most people are, even though none of us would say that. We all say we want love. We may notice that our partner has trouble with love, but we rarely recognize it in ourselves. But when we feel the most loving and in love, we feel really good, but we really value our life and that of the person we love. And that leads to a lot of fear. And that's one of the things that triggers fear in us, that makes us back away from love. We don't want to feel how precious our life is in those moments, so we make it a little less precious by making it a little less wonderful. I think we're also afraid of love because it stirs up any negative images we've had of ourselves. It interferes with them. So growing up, we usually develop some negative self-image. Maybe labels we got in our family, ways we were seen, ways we were reacted to or treated. And we often feel uncomfortable if somebody then comes along and loves us in a way that challenges those old images. We think we want it. We think that's exactly what we want, is to be loved like we were never loved before. But it actually causes us emotional pain. And it makes us have to really look at the fact that maybe those images that were put on us weren't true. And that interferes with our connection with our family of origin, with those people who created those self-images. And it can make us feel very separated from them in a way that also causes anxiety. I think another thing that interferes with love in relationships is that people often have a fantasy of what it'll be like when they fall in love. Sometimes starting from a very young age, it's one of the ways that they soothe themselves is with these fantasies of what it'll be like when they get married, or they find somebody who totally loves them and they have this, happy, perfect relationship. And realizing your dreams in reality actually interferes with the fantasy, because there is no perfect person, there is no soulmate, there is nobody who's going to perfectly fulfill the fantasy. And in fact, really getting invested in another person in real life actually starts to destroy the fantasy. The person is different, the relationship is different, it's not the fantasy, and it's not under your control. In the fantasy, you get to control the whole thing. You get to decide what it's going to look like, how it's going to be, how you're going to interact. But in reality, you're relating to another person. And that other person is going to have their own ideas and feelings and express them in different ways. And also that other person is going to have their own defenses that they came into the relationship with, the ways they adapted to their family of origin, the ways they behaved that they learned that were self-protective. And those things are going to hurt you, just as the ones that you have from your family of origin are going to hurt them too. And so it's not very much like the fantasy. And I think people think that if they just find their soulmate, then it's going to be an easy relationship. Or if we just match up on all these criteria, or if we just have chemistry, all these different ideas that actually are just like little pieces of something that has to be there for a relationship to really work. And it takes work because it means challenging those negative self-images. It means challenging the ways that we adapted and cut off from our emotions. And it means really investing in a relationship, even though there's possibility of loss of the relationship partner, loss of ourselves.